you went to a dystopian sort of world. You woke up, or you became aware, oh, I'm in a dystopian sort of world. Is that how it started?
Mm, that was like middle of the OOBE. Like I just got there,
Okay, how did it start for you?
like usual. I went for a walk.
You went for a walk, okay. In the forest?
Yeah, in the forest. I was
Okay.
walking in the forest and just looking around. It's like a lot of the locations looked very similar to me. And just as I was about to get out of the forest, it's like everything changed, and it's as if like I got kicked out of the reality that I was and ended up in a whole different place. Against my will, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna shift into this place and do something. It was like someone kind of pushed me into another place in a way. And that's where like I, ended up in the dystopian world after a kick. It was like a stumble, like, oh, what the hell, like I was in the forest, now it's like a lot of buildings, a lot of like robots and 1984,
Oh, well,
except
yeah.
futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that cashless society, everyone has trackers. You want to get inside the house, your history is gonna be checked if you can or not, and everything else. If you have crime, you cannot go home because now it's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna go in jail or something. Like a lot of that stuff. Um, a lot of these like drones in the sky scanning things everywhere. It's just like everything on Earth that could go wrong. And let's say if we look at the that New World Order elite and what they probably would want, it's like it happened and went even worse. That kind of a reality.
Oh, man.
Um, so yeah. I
Okay.
mean, like just to answer your question, how I ended up there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you were in an alternate, nice little forest, kind of looked like the forest in the woods you walk in now, or different?
Different.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you were in some realm, but you were walking the forest like you like to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when this happened, did that thing seem like a trap, like a portal or a little web across the pathway, and if somebody walks into it, sort of thing? Is just sitting there waiting for anybody to walk through, or does it seem more like they were tracking you and, oh, there she is, she's alone in the woods, let's get her? You have a sense for which way that went?
I would like not to call myself a targeted individual.
That'd be nice to say that.
But it felt like instead of a grid, instead of any weird portals or anything, it was more like I was picked out of that place and put into another place.
Like somebody or some group or agency in there who
Yeah,
somewhere.
and I'm saying this because of, well, being in a dystopian world, like in that reality, I spent a few hours.
Mhm.
While sleeping, I don't know, maybe just a few minutes. But I got a decent enough experience of I wish my English was good enough to describe everything I was seeing. I wish I understood the technologies of that world to explain more. But it's like, you know, as if the CERN and the Hadron Collider they have and the whole, let's say, nuclear power plants and everything else, like the tech was way more advanced. Where,
Nuclear power plants?
yeah,
Yeah, like that,
for example,
for
but
example, yeah.
mix them like I don't know, like a lot of magnetic stuff, a lot of like what he had is like complete control of bending reality and that Mandela effect where they can put things into their space or remove it or put things elsewhere. And I was kind of a victim of that. That's what got me into that space. And I'm purely saying this because, like how normally, I don't know, like in movies or even like in movies, like I've seen portals and it was nothing like it. It was not a portal because space would open up and people could just normally come out or something, and it was like very intentional. But in that world, it's as if like space was breaking, like literally getting like particles would be destroyed. The building would partly like sort of disappearing and crumbling and getting sucked out while something else steps out now. So it's like it was not the common portal where the space opens up. It was a whole different thing, and I wish I would be able to explain it, but um it's just that while I was there walking around, and very interestingly enough, that part of me, when I got into that world, I knew that world. Like I knew where to go, I knew where my house was, I knew where to find people I knew over there. So it was like interesting. It was very interesting in that way.
So you have another self, another aspect of your beingness and self in that world?
But no, that's the interesting part. It's like I can tell like I lived there for years, but that was more like similar or closer to that Mandela effect, where the reality that I was used to and everything that I experienced in that, let's say, forest walk and the world that was there, that was my other self having a body and just doing it stuff and just chilling and relaxing. And it's like either I from that reality or the whole reality over there changed and it became dystopian world. And all of a sudden you just have knowledge of, oh, things changed and now the story is this. I know I didn't have a body, but the reality around me changed that would fit my body being in that reality, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like one of these kind of realms where the idea is to create the reality, you know, the construct, like the architect in the Matrix movie, but somebody or something has created that dystopian world, and the idea is to get beings in there, being human beings, run around, you know, living life, harsh life, enslaved by the system. And they need more customers. They need more beings, conscious, aware beings in that reality. So they're going around, you know, picking different beings out for whatever reasons, and you were targeted, for example. This is my theory on how it could have played out or what happened. Yeah. What do you think of that theory?
Yeah, it fits what I saw and experienced there. For me, like the very interesting part is that they had the thought police, like in George Orwell, and the whole thing is like it's very similar to that remote neural monitoring. Like you would feel someone being able to get inside your head. And it was very physical, feely kind of thing. It's not like you don't know about it and they can check what you're thinking and what you focus on. It's like you literally get some sort of headache, feel a drain, and like, you know, they can.
I have a headache right here, right now. And as we started this, I had a fucking, you know, just starting, I got an earache pain. But yeah, and please go ahead.
Well, for me, like I got in trouble and I was targeted after they started scanning me, you know, like and I would just like say like it's more drones that do that kind of thing. But like I'm just looking around, I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm just gonna go home, I guess, like go from there, you know, first thing I thought of. And in that world, it's like all of a sudden, like a lot of these like robots start coming out like randomly. Like let's say it's a street and like I don't know, that space starts breaking, the street starts bending, and like that like massive robot comes out, and he's like 7-story high robot, like just massive. 3 legs, 4 legs, you know, like weird looking guys. So like I was like creepy, you know, like started going, you know, like didn't want to look at that stuff. But I got in trouble by the time that I was getting close to my house and started meeting some people, and I want to like to have a conversation. Do you know what's going on? And like, you know, why is this here? And all of a sudden, like, you're not supposed to talk about certain subjects. You're supposed to be that sheeple that obeys all the laws and does everything they're told and don't question, don't do anything. And if you're not, then you're a criminal. Like even just having a thought, this is not normal. Boom, house locked up. I cannot get in. Like the code doesn't work anymore. It's red. It's like you're not allowed to go inside your house. Like a little like okay, you know. So like a lot of those things started happening, and I think somewhere along the lines of a lot of drones coming after me and robots and the military and everything else, I just like got back here. But yeah, like there was a lot of that stuff where it's creepy. People there totally suppressed. Like we talk about Earth is bad. No, that reality was way worse, you know.
Yeah.
But just interesting stuff.
Yeah. Now, so for you, there was like a full-blown out-of-body experience, like you were there fully awake, aware, conscious, touching the walls, seeing things, and you knew you was there. Were you aware that you had another body in another world, like this world, the physical world?
Yeah.
They had that kind of level of consciousness.
it just like started like, you know, I wanted to sleep. I open my eyes and I'm in a forest. I'm like, oh, I'm out. Yay. You know, like I fully knew that like that my body's like over there. Like I looked a bit different, like and I just went with it. And I'm in the forest. I'm like, just kind of enjoy and chill, you know.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
take much, but
Now, could you go back with the level of awareness and your particular abilities, go back in there, change things up, kick some ass, or engage in that life and like help that body do better or bail it out? What are your thoughts on all that sort of weird shit? I think about that stuff a lot.
probably could call myself a little hypocrite. After I woke up and everything, I sort of went back to get my body out of there into a safe place.
Like, fuck that shit.
Yeah. Don't want to be stuck there. So that's all I did. But yeah, just going back there, I could re-experience it all. The
Wow,
world,
fully.
the energy, atmosphere, and everything else.
Yeah, wide awake aware, and you see it and touch it and just like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man. So you bailed your consciousness out? Did you dissolve the body? So tell me some of the details of how you do it particularly.
Okay, so I grabbed the body that had part of my consciousness in there and just teleported to a place outside duality. Like, okay, you know, here, safe, no one's coming. Do you like just asking myself questions of what I know and everything else, and making sure, like, okay, you know, do whatever you want.
Yeah, so you'll set yourself up and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So hey, everybody that's watching, if you have some questions about this sort of thing, you can put them in the comments and we'll look them over and do what we can to answer those, which is different from we'll answer every question.
Could make a video answering questions.
Yeah. And if you have excellent visualization ability or even just really pretty good, this kind of work we do, we can guide you and help you draw your consciousness into your vivid imagined realm and then take it to the next level and the next level. Because what this has to do with is the being that you are on one level and another is creating the reality around you. So in a guided visualization, or what we call a guided out-of-body experience, we have the techniques to guide you in a way that you are creating the world around you, and you're drawing more and more consciousness and awareness out of the physical experience, and thus stop creating it, and into your imagined realm. And then that can go to another level and another level. It will merge from like your own imagined realm, and you're interacting with people or beings or things. That realm will gravitate, or your attention and consciousness will gravitate into a reality system that other beings have already imagined into existence, and it's their reality. And your imagined realm will be enough like it that it'll kind of like merge, a bubble sort of thing. And then you can draw even more of your consciousness into the co-created reality around you. And then, like, depending on how wide awake you are while doing the experience, you might get that shift or click like, oh my God, this is real. In that you can touch it and feel it, and other beings are agreeing that it exists the way you see it, thus reality, as opposed to just your imagination. So yeah, we do that kind of work too. Yeah. All right. Is there any last things you would like to say about your experience?
Nope.
Or
I covered it all.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and we would enjoy reading your comments and answering your questions. All right. Thank you.